All right, because I'm old, well, I don't know, 59 I guess is not that old, but sure as hell feels like it to me. I can't remember stuff anymore, so over COVID, I started writing like memories down and stuff I remembered in stories, and I'm trying to find those right now. Oh, here's another great thing that I love that I wrote down. I gave my seat on the bus to a blind person. That's how I lost my job. Unemployed bus driver. Like, come on. I mean, I know somebody's going to hate me for saying that, but come on. All right, where is this stuff, Alan? I got to find it here. I hope I'm on the right one. Here we go. Okay, so we were talking about Soundgarden. Let's see, Soundgarden. Here we go. Oh yeah, so I got some more stories, and then Alan can ask me. So we're playing the Moore Theater in Seattle, right? And it's not the biggest theater in Seattle, but you know, it's a smaller theater, but back then that was a really big gig for the band and whatnot. So I'm located stage right. That's where my tuning station is. You know, I'd say a tuning station. It was a freaking 412 case cover with a little Boss tuner on it, whatever.
Okay. So stage right, stage left. Tell people what's the difference.
Oh, all right.
Like,
Can I give my spiel?
Go, dude.
All right. So, to the best of my knowledge, way back when in olden times in the UK, there was this guy. What was his name? Billy Shakespeare, something like that. So, I guess he was a playwright or whatever, kind of famous. So he made this theater, right? Well, people in the back couldn't see. So what they did is they basically what's called a rake, right? So people that were farthest away from the crowd, they raised them up so you could see them. So the stage, if you were to place a marble on it, from the back of the stage, that marble would roll to the front of the stage. So when you hear someone say, take that up stage, well, up being up the hill on a rake stage, that would be to what you would think of the back of the stage, the farthest point of the stage away from people, all right? Stage left, stage right. If I'm standing on stage looking at the crowd, right, this is stage right, my right hand, this is stage left. Now, if the crowd's looking for me, it's backwards, right? So house left is stage right, house right is stage left. So there you go, explained to the best of my abilities. So at any rate, I'm standing stage right, tuning, and I go to walk on stage, and here's this guy laying on the floor, about all 6'11" of them taking pictures. Well, it's this guy, Randy Johnson. I think he's a pitcher in the Major League Baseball or something. Pretty good guy. Huge Soundgarden fan, right? I think I heard it from his lips that he said that when he pitched his first no-hitter, he had a Soundgarden shirt on underneath the jersey. Now, that's what I remember. I could be wrong. If I am Randy, I apologize, but there you go, to the best of my memories. But yeah, he's taking pictures. He was a fan. He'd show up, and I'm like stepping over him to do a guitar change. What else I got? Oh, we talked about that. Oh yeah, so this goes out to a fan who saw the show at the Pine Street Theater in Portland, Oregon. And you know who you are? Because you stole Kim's wah at the end of the show. And it was this old Vox wah that sounded better than anything else we had found yet. So to you, to this day, I haven't forgotten. Fuck off. All right. What else do we got here? I don't know, that kind of covers, I guess, I mean, there's more to Soundgarden, but it kind of ties in with other stuff. Like there's Jim Sorensen, who like did all the merch, not just for them.
The t-shirt guy.
But yeah, he was in, his shop was in the back of Seattle Tattoo. And, you know, before those bands all got, you know, famous, like Alice in Chains and, you know, Mother Love Bone, and then Pearl Jam, and then Soundgarden, and I know I'm leaving people out. I can't even think. Nirvana, right? The biggest. Let's leave those out. No. Before they got famous, Jim made shirts for everybody. He made shirts for all of them, right? And then they all signed, they took the money, the big advance from the merch companies and signed it away and whatever. But yeah, he I would, just I happened to become really good friends with him, and I still talk to him. I think it was a couple months ago, spoke on the phone. And, really, you want stories about Seattle bands. I mean, he's the guy that he knows. And, that may be good or bad, but that's just the way it is. No, he hasn't done it in a while. I mean, unfortunately, his diabetes is bad. Like, he's lost, if I'm correct in this, he lost both his legs below his knees. And then he goes to dialysis, I think, every other day or something like that. But Alan, if he hadn't have told me that when I talked to him on the phone, I wouldn't have known, because he is the most upbeat guy, like, just, yeah, whatever had happened, I'm living life, fuck off. So hats off to him. Always kind of like you and I, another guy that I could just pick right back up with. Oh, God, I don't know. And we're talking, how about this? How about we pause there?
Yeah.
Oh, but now you can ask me some questions, because I just been kind of like rolling on, and I mean, we can go and go and go, but how about we go back to...
One of them I got here is, how is social media and that sort of new, how is that, have you seen any change in the business? From when you were doing those shows with these acts, like Raven, to like stuff, talk about, is there an evolution?
Well, I mean, with social media, let's talk about the first thing that came along, email, all right? So with email came that really, like, especially, not so much as like a backline tech or whatever, but especially when you're a production manager or a tour manager, right? Before, the only way people could reach you would be either through the production phone. This is pre-cell phones. And I mean, they had cell phones in the 90s, right? Late 80s. So like these guys could have the big friggin' cell phones, but I don't remember seeing that many of them, right? So they did the call you on the production phone, or they call you on your hotel phone, or, there was a fax, right? So there'd be in the production office, there'd be a dedicated fax line, right? So like people would fax stuff. Like, I mean, even at my house, right? I had a fax machine, and I'd get stuff faxed into me, like, here's your itinerary or whatever. I mean, it's like, as technology came in, it was definitely applied, right? So the first thing was like email. So you'd get emailed, but now really the job turned into what was, always kind of a 24/7 job to a completely 24/7 job. Because now you got people that like are in Europe where it's 9 a.m. and, in New York, it's what, 4 a.m. in the morning, shooting faxes off, waking your ass up or whatever, or like, people in New York waking up people in California, whereas like, you wouldn't call, right? Because it's like, whatever, but now it's like, oh, I'll just send it out. So really, that's when it changed to become like nobody is able to get away, right? I mean, like, I know today, in speaking to the current production manager I work with, I mean, he probably goes through what, 500 emails a day? I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but I don't think I am. I'm going to say it's at least 3. And that just is like, good Lord. I mean, no wonder, like, people are just like glued to their computers. And, some of it's crap, and some of it's like, don't bother me with it. Don't put me in this friggin' 80-person email chain, like, whatever. I don't need it. Stop covering your ass. That's what I always see. When I see this big email chain, I'm like, well, somebody's just covering their ass. Like, look, see, I was part of this. Sorry, it went pear-shaped. And then now, with social media per se, like, and again, you know me, I'm not really part of any of that. But with like, what did it start with, whatever it was before Facebook. But then Facebook came in and like took over. And then you had like whatever, Twitter and Instagram and whatever there is now. I don't really know. I mean, people that are smart about it, I mean, you can market so much stuff and you can like create a buzz. We watched that last night on TV, that Firefest documentary. That was all generated from basically, recycled electrons. That was all, I mean, I'm watching it going, there was never anything there. It was just all generated and put together really with nothing, And again, like, I hate to say it because he stole a lot of money from people, but kind of the guy who invented that, well, whatever, it's been around for a while, but Bernie Madoff, I mean, that's kind of the same thing, right? Like, you're constantly, in the biblical reference, you're constantly borrowing from Peter to pay Paul and whatever. And I'm covering this and I'm covering this, and it's never ending, right? It was the same thing, only this time they were able to do it because, like, the orange tile, right? And again, I'm 59 and to all you out there in viewer land, I don't give a fuck about any of that. But I'm a hypocrite because now I'm going to try to make a living doing podcasts. So there you go. Now you know me. But it just...
But it brings up a thought, and the thought is, going back to that, and its relationship, it was the bologna sandwich in the styrofoam container that sabotaged that whole thing. Now, but here's my question.
Yeah.
My question is, so you're playing Fargo, North Dakota.
Yep.
And you got everybody with these phones going like this.
Yep.
If you guys have a bad night, and I don't know what a bad night is, you'll have to tell me what that is, but if you guys have a bad night, that word gets out instantaneously to wherever you're playing next or wherever you're going next. Do you ever? Oh
yeah. I mean, it's like the current act I work for now, and I'm not going to say any names, but they're an established band, and they have a lot of hits, and some people want to come just hear them play all the hits. But they're a band that still makes new music and takes pride in their work and wants to share that with people. So it's that, it's not, I don't get to say to those guys like, hey, you need to play this or play that. Whatever I think, whatever they think, it's still up to them as a band to go, you know what, this is what we're comfortable doing. This is what we always did. So this is what we're going to do. But yeah, on social media, people are like, oh, they didn't play enough hits or they didn't play this. There's always something, right? Always something. But, here's a for instance. So the guitar tech is bringing a bunch of Fender guitars into the building, right? Somebody takes a picture of it. So immediately now they think that the guitar player is going to have his signature line with Fender. And all these guitars is the band signs them and then gives them away to charity or whatever they do. I don't know because I'm not part of that. I'm with the crew, right? So whatever they do, but at any rate, it's part of his job as a guitar tech. He's helping the drum tech bring this stuff in. And then, they see him play a guitar and immediately everybody's like, oh, there's a new model coming out. Oh, and when it's like, it's news to us, or they come up with a story like there's some vintage guitar involved and it's like, oh, that's a guitar that the guy Keith Richards gave to somebody else and it's like, no, that's just not the case. But to me, it's like, it's kind of amusing because I'm like, you go run with it. You all know better than us. Anybody that's been there, then just go, So yeah, it's definitely affected things. Absolutely.
So have you seen